And welcome to the Small Business Big Ideas Show. Moving along, we have a new feature on the show. Each month, Michelle Miche is going to join us to share what the energy is all about. I don't know about you. Have you noticed some shifts and changes? And man, the world's speeding on real fast, right? Well, Michelle Miche, let me just tell you a little bit about her so you know what we've got on our show. And she's going to be a feature every month. Michelle has consciously been on the spiritual path since her teens. She's been an educator, a facilitator, counselor in holistic health, spiritual healing, transpersonal therapy, image and self-development. She's got an extensive background in television and media. She's been a presenter and host of fashion, beauty, and health shows. Michelle was the host of a television show called Fashion and Beauty. She has developed talent for some of the leading talent agencies in the United States, as well as consulted for an image development firm, coining the term and process of total image therapist. Her seminars have the reputation of developing the inner as well as the outer part of the person. In 1987, Michelle's world drastically changed. Her public life seemed to submerge. She had been modeling, acting, hosting a television show, studying, consulting, and then her life was full and seemed to be on a high upward swing, and then all the activities, work, career perks, careened to a halt. It was as if the bottom fell out, financially and emotionally. So this caused Michelle to go deeper and ask, why? This, she would later find out, was an initiation and one of her awakenings. She heard the call, and her life would never be the same or have the same meaning. Michelle now has a private practice based in Southern California. She conducts an extensive amount of seminars and speaking engagements. She's reintegrated her talent and expertise as a television host and interview into her career now. She has an on-camera expert in her field and hosts that pertain to health and wellness, as well as spiritual and psychological aspects of life. She is an advocate of conscious media and dedicated to television projects that tell story and relay useful information in a way that's compelling, heartfelt, and progressive. Michelle is involved in community outreach programs as well as enrichment programs for adults and youth. She volunteers her time at risk youth facilities, libraries, rehab centers, as well as school. She loves working with children, having taught school at one point in her career. So as we fast forward, and as Michelle Miche is about to join us, she is into the magic of the inner you. As you remember, she was into the outer you. And Michelle is also a host of a blog talk radio show that's getting tremendous action. It's one of the chosen shows on blog talk radio called Awakenings. And Michelle Miche is going to join us each month and share her experience, her expertise, her teachings, her insight, her intuition, and guide us along in this very interesting time that we all are in. So let's say good evening to Michelle Miche. Hey, welcome, Michelle. Welcome to the Small Business Big Ideas Show tonight.
Oh, wonderful to be here, David, and wonderful idea, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
Really.
Well, we need it, and you know, we're going to have you on to talk about the shifts and the energy and give your monthly insights on how we can manage in these somewhat changing and interesting times. And I think one of the shifts that we're seeing is the shift towards, you know, more people looking at small businesses and alternative. So that's the need, I think, for the show. But Michelle, you're going to be with us every month to share your monthly energy insights, giving us the edge on managing this so-called shift, as you call it, in changing times, the shift in these times. So what do you mean exactly? What's this notion of this shift? What's it all about? And how might it be affecting us on maybe on a personal or business or work life way?
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you asked that. First of all, the shift that's happening individually and collectively has been happening for quite some time. You might see some people writing, oh, it started in 2010 or 2011, and Noticeably, some say the 60s, 63. Noticeably, you will have seen in 1987 at the Harmonic Convergence, which all that means really was universally, individually, there became a decision, beyond all of us on an ego personality level. There became a decision that we went as far as we could, extending out or separating out as individual beings or individuated aspects of the all that is, or God, or whatever terms you want to put it in. So does that mean we lose our individuality? No. But what it does mean is there's an undercurrent of coming together. You've probably heard the term coherence. So, the old paradigm really used to be, and I'm sure you had experience with this, I know I have, I'm sure your listeners had, it used to be that it was about fitting the round hole or the round peg in the square hole. Everybody tried to fit in, try to do it a certain way, go to college, get married, da-da-da-da-da, There was this formulaic living, which all came basically from the constructed ego. And part of the reason is because the ego part of us does like formulas. It likes to be on automatic pilot and say, oh, good, I just worked 20 years, 25 years, and I get the gold watch and I get to move on, or I get to, retire, But the soul is not like that. The soul likes opportunity. It likes creativity. That's why you see more small businesses, and we'll touch on that as well, and more entrepreneurship. This is called the age of the entrepreneur. So out of this harmonic convergence, out of this decision to harmonize, to work more synergistically, have more collaboration, cooperation, more coherence, cohesiveness, to come together as individual beings and share, not try to change each other or proselytize, but to look, where are you naturally being guided to? Where are you naturally being drawn to? What do you naturally resonate? And to focus there instead of trying to be what one is not. That's why people say it's also about authentic living. So out of this harmonizing or harmonic convergence, we came into, I would say, about 2003, between 2003 and 2005, we started moving into what's called the Converging Flow. Now, the Converging Flow is people from all walks of life starting to come together, waking up, realizing more of who they are, or saying, I want to try this. I want to have my own business, or I'm also an artist. I want to integrate this. So people, whether they're teachers, professors, sanitation drivers, CEOs, mothers, fathers, children, students, people, I have a lot of clients in the stock market industry. Those people also kind of, all industries kind of waking up and coming together, converging, all at the same time. You also see around this time, and specifically in 2005, you also see a lot of earth changes or events, which some may say cataclysmic events, relationship disruptions in old ways of thinking, all happening at the same time. So the converging flow means it's all happening at the same time, different arenas, different sectors happening at the same time. Things are happening with weather. Things are happening with the stock market, with the banking system, the real estate. It wasn't until about in 2005, that's when we came into the quickening. That's when the succession awakenings began on more of a mainstream level, where people were really noticing, and even you can see using the term waking up, getting awake. And you're hearing that more and more, or I'm awakening, or I feel awake. That's why my show Awakenings came in 2006, and the guides had told me it's to focus that it's not just one awakening, it's a succession or process of awakenings in all areas of life, in all sectors.
Yeah, we're really we're all being shaken up. I mean, I guess, the biggest thing has been this past summer, it's been the economy again. And boy, if there's one way to get our attention, it's shake up our bank accounts and shake up our financial aspect of ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. Is that all part of it?
Well, David, I'm going to go one step further, because we have less control on an ego level than we would like to imagine. And I call this time the age of the soul. The soul, which, see, our personality is an extension of our soul. So that's why people say, oh, they've got soul, or I feel them, or I feel their soul, or you look into someone in the eyes of the soul. Really what it means is living more by your own blueprint, living more authentically. That's another way to put it. So in essence, on a spiritual level or on a soul level, we went as far as we could over focusing on money or systems. And, I don't want to get too deep into it, but astrological means Pluto in Capricorn, squaring Saturn in Libra, which will also do with structures of relationship and also societal structures and group structures, business structures. So it's not really, this is the thing, and I really want people to get this. It's not that we did anything wrong or we're being shaken up or Earth is mad at us. It's that we went as far as we could in this way of being. And so all structures are being affected because they no longer reflect the new consciousness that's coming in. So it used to be what how you look, the car, the system that you were a part of, whether it was an Ivy League system, what kind of job you had, a corporation, that's another form of system, meant something about you. I always use the analogy, if you went to, I'm in the States, so if you went to a public school, or a public college, a city college, that wasn't as good, that system wasn't as good as a Cal State, but the Cal State wasn't as good as the UC system. And we all know the Ivy League system is looked at as the end-all, be-all, So what that did is it gave us too much of an external focus. It's too limiting now. So we're really being asked to take risks, to expand. The soul is saying, look, we lived this out. That's boring now. So the shaking up of the system is to say we need new systems that bring in more authentic living, that bring in more fulfillment, that bring more enlivening, and ultimately bring in more abundance and prosperity. And that the system isn't only about money. There's other resources, that we are our own resources. Once we start getting that, we're our own resources. So we can create new systems of thought, new systems of exchanging, whether it's monetary or ideas, create new platforms, new businesses. Why, in the old system, only a few people could be entrepreneurs? Now it's like, hey, everybody, 3 to 4 sources of creativity or output or income is another way of putting it. This is the age of serial entrepreneurs. But for everyday people, not just a certain few that went to business school, So it really is, if I could share anything, it really is, even though it's scary, it's about a freeing up and daring to believe and realizing that we are the ones, as we're shifting, to bring in and create the new systems. So we're updating individually and collectively.
So if it's meant to be, it's up to me.
Yes, exactly, yes. And that's what gets me. People are waiting for some big event.
We're waiting for, the second coming, but it's us. We're it.
We are the second coming. That's the joke. That's the cosmic joke. What everybody is waiting for is themselves to move forward in their life, to actualize. And it's not a date. I will say major changes 2013. I would say 2012 is one thing that you will see is just more of the same, more overt and more in the mainstream. The idea of the solstice, what happens, on December 21st, it happens every solstice. There's an alignment. Now we'll have more of an alignment to the galactic center, more of an, exact. Are there earth changes? Yes. Are we becoming more magnetic? Yes. But what that means is that we are to be more receptive to the signs around us, not to just do, action for action. We're to meditate or contemplate, bring it in. We're to respond to what's in front of us, because that's what's going to lead us to the next step of our unfolding. But you're right, it's us.
Wow. where do we reach you? You're going to be here every month with us now, doing these sort of bits with us. Where do we reach you? And what do we, just real quick, because we only have about a minute left, what do we need to be mindful of this month coming up until our next time together?
Yes, be aware of, we're in a cycle that started in March. It's really highlighting August, September, which we're in, into the end of the year. Be mindful this month of what seems to be changing or closing, or you might say something's going away, or someone may be going away, or something. Or maybe it's just you, that you see yourself focusing on something else, or new interests are coming in. And what I would say is, it's not, you have a foundation. Everyone has a foundation. It's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but allow yourself to follow the new interests that are coming in for you, whether it's a movie, a book, researching something in the health. Maybe it's a business idea that you've had that you've put in this back burner, but it keeps coming back in your mind. What I would say is follow that. This month is the time to follow that inner prompting, that nudging, without having to freak yourself out that you have to make major decisions, but follow through on where you feel you're being guided, nudged, urged, for some pushed, or where your new interests coming in. Follow through on that.
Wow. Your website is selfandlight.com, correct?
Yes, that's the website. Give a couple connecting. Soul Insights for Spirit-Led Living is the blog. Michelle Mache on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's,
Blog Talk Radio / You've got a radio show.
Awakenings, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's Blog Talk Radio / Awakenings, right?
Yeah, blogtalkradio.com / awakenings. If people want any more in-depth information.
Oh, and you're beautiful. Like, your show is phenomenal. It's every Wednesday at 2 here in our part of the woods.
Yes, yes. And I love connecting with the Canadian folks. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, well, we got to get you up here, eh?
Yes.
All right,
Absolutely.
Michelle, thank you so much for this. We'll speak to you next month.
Okay, sounds great.
All right.
Blessings.
All right,
Bye.
and you as well. That was Michelle Mache. She joined us from her home office in California. Log on to her blog and also her website, selfandlife.com, and her radio show called Awakenings on blogtalkradio.com / awakenings, heard every Wednesday. You can go into it and listen to the archives, much like we do here. Interesting, eh, Todd?
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool indeed.